Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're getting into the playbook that the absolute best software companies use. We're talking about how they turn their development process from a major bottleneck into a powerful accelerator. So let's just jump right in. You ever wonder how some of these tech giants, the Netflixes and Amazons of the world, can push out new features and updates constantly, sometimes even multiple times a day, while so many other companies are stuck in these slow quarterly release cycles? Well, it's not magic. It's a very specific, very deliberate system, and that's what we're going to unpack today.
But before we can get to the solution, we've got to be really clear about the problem. And the problem is this. The old traditional way of building software, well, it just can't keep up anymore. It's completely broken for the world we live in now. You see, on one hand, you've got these old models like waterfall. The best way to think about it is like a relay race, right? Each person has to finish their entire leg of the race before they can even hand the baton to the next person. It is so rigid, it's incredibly slow, and if you find a mistake late in the game, it's a disaster. But the modern way, it's the total opposite. It's flexible, it's fast, and it's built to be resilient because it assumes that change is going to happen.
Okay, so how do we actually get there? Well, it's not about just picking some new trendy methodology. The real secret is an integrated system, what I like to call the modern trinity. These are three ideas that have to work together. Let's break them down. So piece number one is Agile. You can think of this as the foundational philosophy. It's the why behind everything. It's really a mindset that's all about building and shipping things in small, iterative chunks, getting feedback and then adapting, instead of getting locked into some massive, rigid plan from the start.
All right, next up, DevOps. Now, if Agile is the philosophy, DevOps is the culture that actually makes it happen. This is the how. It's all about tearing down those old walls between the developers who write the code and the operations folks who have to run it. No more just, throwing the code over the fence and hoping for the best. It's about shared ownership from start to finish.
And the final piece of our trinity is CI/CD. That stands for continuous integration and continuous delivery. This is the technical engine that makes the whole thing go. It's the automation pipeline that grabs the code from a developer's computer, runs it through all the tests, and gets it out to your customers, quickly, and just as importantly, reliably.
And here is the most crucial part. You can't just pick one. You can't say, we're doing Agile now, or we just bought a DevOps tool. It doesn't work that way. They are a completely interlocking system. Agile gives you the why, DevOps gives you the culture, and CI/CD gives you the speed. You need all three.
Now, this all sounds pretty good in theory, right? But how do we know it actually works? Well, the great thing about this modern approach is that its success isn't just a feeling, you can measure it. And the data tells a really, really powerful story.
I want you to meet the DORA metrics. These have become the absolute gold standard for measuring how well a software team is performing. And they're beautiful because they're simple. They measure two main things, speed and stability. For speed, they call it velocity. You look at how often you can deploy code and how long it takes a change to get from a developer's keyboard to your customers. And for stability, you measure how often those changes fail and how fast you can fix things when they do.
And here's why this matters to the business, why your CEO should care. The research from DORA is crystal clear. The teams that are elite at these four metrics are twice as likely to meet or even beat their overall business goals. So this isn't just some engineering metric, it directly predicts business success. I mean, just to put this into perspective, think about this for a second. An elite performing team can take a new idea, write the code for it, test it, and have it live in production, providing value to customers in less than 1 hour. Let that sink in. Not a quarter, not a month, less than 60 minutes. But what's really mind-blowing is that they do this without constantly breaking things. They manage to move at this incredible speed while also being incredibly stable. We're talking less than a 5% failure rate on their changes. So that old myth that you have to choose between going fast or being safe, it's just not true anymore. And when you look at the gap between the best and the worst, it is just staggering. I mean, elite teams are deploying new code whenever they want, multiple times a day. Low performers, maybe once a month. When something breaks, elites are back up and running in under an hour. For low performers, it can take weeks. This isn't a small difference. It's like they're playing two completely different sports.
So, let's look at how this actually plays out in the real world. We're going to check out the blueprints from a couple of companies that have this whole modern playbook down to a science. Netflix and Amazon.
So at Netflix, Their guiding principle is people over process. What does that mean? It means instead of creating a bunch of rigid rules and procedures to control everybody, they focus all their energy on hiring amazing, responsible people and then giving them the freedom and the context to do great work.
And they take this to an extreme with something called chaos engineering. They literally have automated tools, you might have heard of the chaos monkey, that just go around and randomly shut down parts of their live system, on purpose. It sounds completely nuts, right? But it forces their engineers to build systems that are incredibly resilient and can heal themselves from the get-go. They basically make small failures a part of everyday life so that a huge catastrophic failure becomes almost impossible.
Okay, now let's pop over to Amazon. One of their most famous ideas is the two-pizza team. And the rule is simple. A team should never be so big that you couldn't feed the whole group with just 2 pizzas. This isn't just about being cheap. It's a design principle for keeping teams small, autonomous, and able to communicate really, really effectively.
And that organizational structure is only possible because of their technical architecture. Amazon is famous for breaking its giant application down into thousands of tiny, independent services or microservices. Each one of those 2 pizza teams owns its services, top to bottom. This means they can build, deploy, and scale their little piece of the universe without needing to coordinate with hundreds of other teams. It lets them all move incredibly fast all at the same time.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here? You might be thinking, that's great for Netflix, but we can't do that. But you can. The truth is, there's a clear, actionable roadmap that any company can start following to get on this path to elite performance.
Here's the roadmap. Step 1, mandate ownership. Create a you-build-it-you-run-it culture. No more silos. Step 2, start measuring. You can't improve what you don't measure, so track those 4 DORA metrics now. Step 3, and this one is so important, focus on stability first. Get your failure rate down and your recovery time fast. Speed without stability is just a faster way to crash. And finally, step 4, automate with discipline. Use practices like infrastructure as code to make your systems reliable and repeatable.
And that really brings us to the final question you need to ask yourself. The world is moving faster than it ever has before. So you have to take a really honest look at your own organization and ask, is the way we build software holding us back, or is it our single biggest competitive advantage? Because honestly, the answer to that question is going to define your future.